The Nürburgring 24 hours is nothing like a Formula One weekend. There are no grid girls, no champagne-soaked podium ceremonies, no drive-to-survive cameras following every move. Instead, there are folding chairs, barbecue smoke drifting through the campsites, and fans standing knee-deep in mud at 2 a.m., watching headlights vanish into the fog over the Eiffel Mountains. Max Verstappen spent 21 hours leading this race, pulled off a breathtaking double overtake on the Deutner Hohe Strait that brought the paddock to its feet, and then, with just 3 hours remaining, a driveshaft failure destroyed the rear axle. 352,000 spectators saw it unfold. Formula One acted as if it never happened. 25.3 kilometers of narrow forest road, 73 corners, nearly 300 meters of elevation change every lap. No DRS zones, no deployment maps, no steering wheel displays telling drivers when to attack or conserve. Just a car, a ribbon of asphalt through the woods, and the talent of the person behind the wheel. This is the circuit Formula One abandoned, and this weekend it became the place where the best driver in Formula One chose to race instead. Verstappen arrived as the reigning 4-time world champion. Back in Formula One, he competes in a sport preparing for a new generation of regulations centered around heavier electrical systems, manual energy overrides, and aggressive harvesting strategies that make racing feel increasingly like resource management. For months, Verstappen had openly criticized those upcoming rules. Yet, here at the Nürburgring, he was driving a Red Bull-liveried Mercedes-AMG GT3 Evo, operated by his own Verstappen racing program with WRT managing the car trackside. Sharing the cockpit with him were Danny Juncadella, Jules Goonan, and Luca Stoles. No engineers from Milton Keynes telling him which battery mode to select. No endless radio discussions about tire degradation or energy windows. No prize money or championship implications. He came because this is what racing feels like when all the layers of modern Formula One are stripped away. Juncadella qualified the car fourth on the grid. Race day arrived with temperatures hovering around 9 degrees and rain threatening the circuit. The green flag waved at 0 inches the afternoon, and Verstappen climbed into the car after the opening hour. His first stint immediately turned chaotic. Entering Flansgarten, one of the Nordschleife's harshest compression sections, the heavily loaded Mercedes launched both front wheels into the air and clipped the barrier. Most races would end there. Verstappen gathered the car, kept his foot planted, and within a few laps was already posting the fastest sectors on the circuit. Then came the move everyone would talk about afterward. On the Deutner Hohe Strait, nearly 3 kilometers flat out through thick forest, Verstappen split a Ford Mustang and an Aston Martin Vantage in a fearless 3-wide overtake at full speed. No runoff, no margin for error. He cleared both cars before the braking zone. In Formula One, a pass like that would rely on DRS, battery deployment, and engineers monitoring energy data. At the Nürburgring, it came down to one thing: a driver believing he was quicker and proving it with the throttle. By the end of his double stint, Verstappen had climbed 3 positions and built a 2-3 second advantage. But the race transformed completely once darkness arrived. The Nordschleife at night barely resembles a racetrack. It becomes an endurance test of survival. There are no floodlights around the circuit. The only boundaries between the road and the forest are reflective markers and whatever range your headlights can provide. Cars vanish into mist, emerge through tree-lined corners, and plunge through elevation changes that are disorienting even in daylight. Verstappen produced the fastest sectors of any car on track, not just in class, but outright. His consistency became so overwhelming that the Mercedes pit wall stopped feeding him strategy updates and simply let him drive. The lead over the sister, number 80 Mercedes, driven by Maro Engel, Fabian Schiller, Luca Stolz, and Maxim Martin, stretched beyond 30 seconds. Nobody could touch the number 3 car. Nobody even looked capable of matching it. This was the best driver in the world, attacking the hardest circuit in the world at 2 in the morning. No electronic balancing tools, no software controlling deployment, no artificial equalization systems. Just pure driving ability in a GT3 car pulling away from factory professionals. Elsewhere in the field, former Formula One driver Timo Glock was disqualified during the race and stripped of his Nordschleife permit after ignoring a slow zone. On the Nordschleife, slow zones are treated with absolute seriousness. Cars have been destroyed in those sectors. Glock, a veteran of more than 100 Grand Prix, lost everything in a single moment. The Nürburgring 24 hours does not care about reputation, branding, or career achievements. It only cares whether you respected the track. That contrast matters too. But the most important story from the weekend was never Verstappen's finishing position. It was the audience that came to witness it, and the type of racing they came to see. 352,000 spectators attended the Nürburgring 24 hours over the course of race week, setting an all-time attendance record. For the first time in more than 50 years, weekend passes completely sold out. The previous year's crowd totaled 280,000. The increase of 72,000 people was largely credited to one individual. Race winner Maro Engels said it directly. He put this race back on the global motorsport map, and this is the part Formula One should notice. Those 352,000 fans were not watching energy harvesting strategies. They were not listening to drivers ask engineers about override modes. They were not watching cars back off mid-straight to recharge batteries. They were watching GT3 machines on equal tires, with no DRS, no gimmicks, and no artificial performance systems, racing through a forest on raw skill alone. The atmosphere in the Eifel could not feel further removed from a modern Formula One weekend. Fans camp beside the Nordschleife for days. They light fires in woodland clearings. They stand in the rain on muddy hillsides, watching cars they can barely identify except by the color of their headlights as they scream past at 250 kilometers per hour. No luxury paddock clubs, no corporate lounges, no €500 day tickets. Just people who came for racing and received exactly that. 352,000 people made their choice, and they chose the type of motorsport Formula One seems determined to leave behind. One detail barely received attention. The Nürburgring 24-hour streams live for free on YouTube with multilingual commentary available worldwide. Unless you live in the United States or Canada, North American viewers who opened the stream on race day were greeted with a geo-block. No free broadcast, no easy alternative. The race was hidden behind Racer Plus, a paid streaming platform unfamiliar to most casual motorsport fans. So while hundreds of thousands of German fans watched freely, audiences in the largest English-speaking motorsport market were asked to subscribe just to tune in. Shopify founder Tobias Lüdke questioned the decision publicly on X, asking why the Nürburgring 24 hours had been blocked in North America. His post gathered more than 5,000 likes before Sunday night. Fans replied that they would have watched the race all day if it had remained on YouTube. Instead, many skipped it entirely. They showed up for racing. Unfiltered, dangerous, beautiful, skill-defined racing. The kind where a driver threads a double overtake at 300 kilometers per hour on instinct, not because a screen told him he had enough energy stored. Formula One is building its future around the opposite of what those 352,000 people came to see. The 2026 cars are heavier than ever. The electrical component is stronger than ever, and the driver's role is increasingly about managing systems rather than managing a car. When Verstappen says it feels like Mario Kart, he is not being dramatic. He is describing a sport where the button you press matters more than the line you take through a corner.